Hello everyone and welcome back to another contrast paint video, and today we have for you a Deathclaw, which can also double up as a young Deathclaw within the rules, I think, from the Fallout Wasteland Warfare 2-player starter set. This is the big bad, not affiliated because when the 2-player starter set was made there wasn't a creatures faction, which does actually let you have tamed Deathclaws Enclave style. But this is the most impressive and largest of the miniatures that come with the 2-player starter set, which I did do an unboxing of, and he can turn up just as something to aggravate both sides if you're playing just like a stand battle or a story battle or a story linked battle. The tutorial campaign, or one of the campaigns in the campaign booklet that comes in the starter set, includes one where a Deathclaw can just show up and make your life misery for both sides. Very nice looking base again. I'm actually genuinely surprised consistently with how the Wasteland Warfare bases look. They are very detailed and very true to the game, like you've got Nuka-Cola bottles on some of them and those vending machine things at the Nuka-Cola. If you played the game, you'll recognise stuff they put on the bases. The attention to detail is impressive. Speaking of which, the miniature itself is pretty good, I would say, in terms of the quality. You can see some of the connecting lines. It came assembled, so it's not like I did this. It came like this. What are you choking on, dog? I'm trying to do an intro here. Anyway, this is going to be a good chance to see the blending of contrast paints in general, because Deathclaws, for the most part, they're kind of monotone. Like in Fallout 3, I think they were just like darkish brown. A bit more detailed in Fallout 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little bit of, and it's going to be one long time skip for most of this, just to prepare yourselves. We're going to start with Skeleton Horde, mostly just like on the belly, down by the crotch, and maybe a little bit of the inner thighs, because that's kind of like where the soft bits are. So that's going to be Skeleton Horde. While that's still wet, we're then going to do Wildwood on the whole thing, basically, starting from the feet and working up. And there's a reason for this, because after the Wildwood is done, and again in the same time skip while it's still wet, we're then going to blend some Black Templar, because in Fallout 4 at least, up at the top on the ridges and down the tail, like the older scaled parts, it's turned much darker. We'll worry about picking out detail, like the horns are pure black, for instance, so we'll probably have to go over them again with a second coat to make them stand out more than the blended stuff. But the actual claws are going to be done probably in Skeleton Horde, but they'll need to be tidied up with Grey Seer first, which he is based in, for the record, because he started Luminous Green. So, it is going to be one long time skip to start, in the order presented. Skeleton Horde on the stomach, Wildwood on the whole thing, and Black Templar just along the tops to hopefully add a blend of colour. We'll see if it works. I used a similar system when I was painting dog meat, and I didn't do that on camera, but we'll be able to see here whether it works. That was an overly long intro, I apologise. Let's get started. So here we are at the first check-in, and I've used some Grey Seer just to go over the nails on his hands and his like Velociraptor-esque toes, because they're going to be done in Skeletal Horde separately, maybe in the next time step or at the end, time skip rather. And his mouth, because that'll need to get done with, like, I don't have the pink contrast, so I'll just mix up pink with some red and Grey Seer probably. And the teeth will get some Skeletal Horde over them to add detail. I don't know how obvious the colour change I was going for is between the Skeletal Horde brown and black. I think it's getting picked up a little bit, maybe not as much as I would have liked, but at least it's some definition, and of course the contrast pools to create shadow elsewhere. Now you might have seen during that time skip quite a few times, despite being thoroughly and evenly coated in grey sear, and again you can tell it is because it's neon green before you base it, the contrast paint was running and refusing to stay in certain areas, which has led me to have to touch up a few places as it dried, and I don't know why that's happening. It only happens with the Wasteland Warfare miniatures, so I can only assume it's because of whatever they've made their resin out of. It's PVC based, I believe, but I've used contrast paint on plenty of resin miniatures already, like most of the Batman ones and a couple of 40k ones, and I've never had this issue assuming that the base coat has been applied evenly, and it has been in this case, so I don't know why it still has issues. I don't know enough about the mechanics of paint, so if anyone has a reason, an explanation, please let me know, because I'm genuinely curious. This was thoroughly washed in hot soapy water before it was based as well, so it's not that the resin material is still there, like cluttering things up. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's dry now. I think I've mostly patched up all the parts where it was running. It's looking okay. The next time skip is we're going to use Basilicanum Grey on the four rocks on the base, some more black on the tire, and then that will probably have to dry before I apply some snakebite leather to the base. So we'll do the skeletal horde on the various teeth and claws and such at the same time as well, I think. But gonna let it dry a little bit longer, make sure I've got every gap. So one final check-in before the finished miniature. I am going to use more contrast paint, but you don't really need to see it. I'm just going to use snakebite leather to do the dirt, wait until it dries, go over it with some Agrax Leather shade to make it look muckier, and then that'll basically be it. Maybe some Agrax over parts of his skin just to darken it, the claws maybe, and also some blood for the blood god, because Deathclaws are vicious, so they're going to be all over his hands and maybe on the front of the base as well. I went around the rim with Basilicum Grey just to make it look darker once I eventually just use a bog standard Abaddon Black to make the base rim pure black. Just otherwise it looks a little bit too light with just going straight onto the contrast. So I think that'll be about it. So we'll be back in a moment once all this is dried with a finished miniature. And so here we have the finished Deathclaw with all the dark colours. I'm finding it hard to keep this in focus, so apologies if it is slightly blurred, or will be as we do our hashtag Ghetto360 spin. Yeah, it's having trouble finding the face, I think, unfortunately. But we'll do the body first, then I'll try and get a close-up of the face a little bit. I think the colour change, like you can tell the black changing into the dark brown. The light colour on his stomach didn't blend as well as I'd hoped, so it looks a little bit too dark, so it doesn't stand out as much, but beyond that, I think it looks pretty intimidating. The blood on the claws, the mouth as well, and then it's dribbled onto the base. The tufts of grass I used for this, actually, literally just before I started recording this, got a delivery of a new box because I'm down to the last 4 in the one I'm using. It's called Wasteland Turf by Army Painter. It's not a paid plug or anything, it's literally just what I've been using on the Fallout miniature bases. I think prior to that I was using those on, I think the Tau bases for my 40k army. Anyway, let's see if we can get this face in focus in some fashion. Probably not, huh? It's weird how the auto zoom struggles with the face, or faces in general. It's not doing it, huh? Well, I can only apologise. The arms are more in focus than the thing that I want it to focus on. What if I do this? that doesn't make any difference other than showing off my hand. Wow. Well, what if we zoom back a little bit? Just a little bit. Oh, getting there, kinda, maybe. Because I wanted to point out, apparently Deathclaws have orange eyes. I looked at a Fallout 4 reference picture of the model from it, and they have orange eyes rather, which I hope you can, maybe kind of see. Put some Agrax Earth Shade in the mouth after mixing up a quick pink with red and grey sear as previously said, but then added blood over the top, so it might be a bit OTT on the old blood on the face there, but I wanted the Deathclaw to look intimidating, and hopefully that has been achieved. And then you've just got the stuff on the base, blood on the base, the grass, and the outline in black as well. So we're going to call that there. As a random aside, while I've been waiting for the contrast on this to dry, I've just been painting a Batman miniature, so there's, for no good reason, two characters that will never interact. What was her name? It's Jade or Jinx from the Demon's Heir Batman Batbox. Was just painting her up with contrast as well while I was waiting on this to dry. It's very efficient to do that. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please do show your support and look out for more contrast paint videos in the future, as well as all the battle reports as well. There will be more Wasteland Warfare content. Got to paint up a few minis and try and work out why contrast doesn't take to them. Like for instance, I've got next on the chopping block, not for a video necessarily, just in my own time, one of these survivors with a laser rifle, I think, or a bolt action rifle, I think. Either way, got to work on those so I can start going through the tutorial campaigns solo against the AI. But, rambling again, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the future. Ta for now.